given the most recent chess events, I think the newcomers are going to be sex fiends. No, I'm joking. But anyway, this with Magnus Carlsen and Hans Niemann. What the hell is happening there? I mean, I have no idea. The first game that I'm going to show you, a very short game between Hans Niemann and Magnus Carlsen. You've probably already seen the game, but if you have not, you're going to be in for a shock. That is crazy, but we're going to use this opportunity, a very short game, to have a bit of a laugh, share my thoughts and feelings, and in the comments, if you'd share your thoughts and feelings too, that'd be absolutely great. The second game is going to be a little bit more serious. It's between Anish Giri and David Navara. Anish Giri found a brilliant knight sacrifice where I'm quite excited to share this game with you. Before we go any further, I'll just give you a quick apology. I haven't had much time to share much YouTube content. I've been sticking to this Twitch schedule, and when I have had a little bit of time to create any YouTube content, it's been for the Crazy Crows Chess Club. Now I'm going to share their Discord in the description, a great community that they've got going on. I've been creating private videos for these guys. If you want access to these private educational chess videos, when I say private, given the recent chess events, who knows what you're going to think, maybe chess porn, I don't know, but no, it's not chess porn, it's educational. It's based on endgames and basically just being able to improve you as a chess player. Very instructive videos, but again, you're going to have to join their Discord to get access to these videos. It's not going to be forever, so in the very near future I should have a little bit more time to share more content with you guys. So let's get into the video. So what happened between Magnus Carlsen and Hans Niemann here? Magnus Carlsen resigned. He never played his second move. He played the knight to f6 after Hans played c4. He resigned. This is the anal attack third bead variation. No, it's not. It's just the Indian game. I'm just having a laugh there. Just taking a little bit of a dick out myself. I'm sorry about that. But why did Magnus resign here? I guess nobody knows. I wish, and I guess a lot of you wish that we knew more, but we simply don't. Magnus has not really said anything, but I'll be honest with you, this game speaks volumes. He resigned in this position. I do truly believe that Magnus believes that Hans Niemann cheated, and by doing this, I believe Magnus is saying I am not playing a cheater. Now, am I saying Hans cheated? No, I am not. I have no idea. I'm sat on the fence. I'm sat thinking, how? I don't believe Magnus and his team would share any opening knowledge, and I don't believe Hans would wear anal beads to a tournament. I can't believe I'm saying this. Again, the anal bead accusation was a joke that got thrown out of proportion when Elon Musk jumped on it on Twitter, and the internet just went bang. But again, it was a joke. Does Hans like wearing anal beads? No idea. That's up to him. But anyway, so yeah, my opinion is that after this game, Magnus is saying, I believe Hans cheated and I'm not playing a cheater. Again, I'm sat on the fence. I don't know whether he cheated, whether he didn't cheat, whether there's just a big dislike between the players. I don't know. But anyway, let's get into a more serious game. We have Anish Giri versus David Navara. Now, this game start off again is the anal attack third bead variation, except David Navara took the challenge of the third bead variation and played e6. Now, I'm just kidding. It was the Indian game, but it does turn into a Queen's Gambit declined. So after the move e6, we have knight to f3, d5, knight to c3, bishop to b4, queen to a4. Give it a check, threatening to win the bishop here on b4. And the only way to block the check and defend the bishop at the same time is knight to c6, which is what David Navara played. This is still all theory. E3, castles by David Navara, queen back to c2, and this is the last book move in the position. So that's all the opening knowledge out of the window. The two great players on their own, and David Navara here plays rook to e8, Stockfish says it's in an inaccuracy. I can't say why it's an inaccuracy. Maybe David Navara is expecting the e file to open up. Let's just say Giri takes here on c5. Maybe he's got ideas of taking on e5, applying pressure down the centre. Who knows what went through David Navara's mind. I don't dislike this move. Stockfish just isn't a fan. So anyway, Giri plays bishop to d2. Navara brings the bishop back to f8. He makes it very clear that he doesn't want to trade off the dark square bishops. So bishop to e2, knight to b4 by Navara, queen back to b1, moving out of the attack. D takes on c4, bishop takes on c4, b6, a3, and instead of moving the knight, Navara makes it very clear he would like to trade off the light square bishops, but keep the dark square bishop on the board. So Giri retreats the bishop back to e2, where it's defended by the knight. Bishop takes on e2, knight takes on e2, and the knight goes back to d5. e4 by Giri, knight to e7 by Navara, e5, knight to d5, knight to g5, knight to g6, h4, bishop to e7, and the brilliant move by Anish Giri, knight takes on h7. Why is it a brilliant move? In the game, David Navara took the bishop, which was the correct way to play this, but let's just say knight takes here on h4. The game would probably continue, according to Stockfish, I might add. Queen to e4, Navara trying to create attack here down the centre, slash queen side, if you will. You try and open up the c file. Castles by Giri, rook to c8, king sliding over to b1, c takes on d4, preparing to, rook to h3, preparing to double the rooks, create a battery down the h file towards the king. d3, and after Giri would just shift the knight and say, okay, where's your attack? Giri is now ready to play rook to h1, and there we go. Giri would have secured his doubling up on the h file, creating some grave dangers for this king over here, and the game would go on to with a quite a decent advantage here to white. But anyway, Navara played bishop takes on h4, which again was the better way to play this. There's a the evaluation bar is a little bit up and down. A slight advantage here to white. So g3 by Giri, king takes on h7, g takes on h4. Again, the rook can't take because the knight would grab the rook. King to h8, queen now to e4, f5. You can't really take en passant here. You can, but again, it would open up the rook's sight of the king down the e file. That wouldn't be great. Yes, I guess Giri would be giving some counterplay a few moves down the line to David Navara. So he plays queen to g2, creating some strong threats down here on the king side towards Navara's king. Knight back to f8 by Navara. Giri doubles up now on the g file. Queen to d7, defending this pawn. Giri has an attack with bishop to h6. The bishop can't, the pawn can't take because the queen here would land with mate. So Navara adds another defender with rook to e7. Giri wants to add another attacker with knight to f4. He wants to bring the knight here and start really pressuring this guy on g7. So Navara finds a great move, king to h7. White is not ready to take here on g7, because if white did this, it would be really bad. Because after the queen takes on g7, rook takes on g7, bishop takes on g7, queen takes on g7, rook takes on g7, king would take. You know, that's just one way. If instead he said, okay, bishop takes, rook takes, queen takes, that's probably what would have happened. Rook takes, king takes, Navara would just be up a piece for a pawn. So yes, white obviously here is not ready to take on g7. So by playing h7, He's saying, do whatever you want to the pawn on g7. You can't do it. I am now ready to take your bishop on h6. So Giri retreats the bishop back to g5. And Navara plays rook to f7, knight to h3, rook to c8, castles, which was a slight mistake by Giri, giving some potential counterplay now to Navara. c5 and pawn. D takes on c5, which is a blunder really, because in the game Navara played queen to b5, which is an important move to remember, but it's just played a little bit too soon. How Navara should have played is rook takes on c5 with check, and after Giri would slide out of the way with king to b1, knight to c3, b takes on c3, now queen to b5 with check. Giri would have to, I guess, put the king on c2, queen to a4 check, king to d3, rook to d7 check, king back to e2, guarding this rook right here on d1, queen to c2 check, and not actually taking the rook. You need to first get rid of the bishop. So rook takes on e5 check, king slides out of the way, queen takes on c3 check, bishop blocks. Now take the bishop with the rook. After f takes the rook on e3, now grab the bishop on d2 with the rook, threatening the queen. Queen to g5. Unfortunately, the queen can't grab here on g7 because we're defending. Sorry, Navara's defending it. And here, black would just be completely winning, up 2 pawns, quite quickly approaching the endgame. So Navara actually played queen to b5 and loses his chance of really being able to grab the advantage in this game. So rook takes on d5, e takes on d5, bishop back to e3, rook to c7, piling up on the pawn, threatening to take and start dishing threats out to the king on c1. First, Giri plays knight to g5 check, king to h8, e6, rook takes on c5, and this is a blunder because bishop just takes after queen takes, slide the king to b1. There's a pawn on b2, so there's none of this anymore. King to g8 by Navara, e7 by Giri, knight to g6, knight to e6, queen to c2 check, king to a1. There's no more threats now by Navara. f4, queen takes on g6, queen takes on g6, rook takes on g6. A lot of g's there. Navara here played king to f7, I guess. One last try, given a fork on the rook and knight, also threatening this very dangerous e-pawn. Knight takes on f4, defending the rook, and here David Navara resigned. Stockfish said the game would have continued with rook to e8, rook to g5, rook takes on e7, rook takes on d5, rook to e1, king to a2, and rook to h1. And Giri would just have to push the h pawn to h5, knight defends, rook defends, whatever. Navara plays. Stockfish says king to g8 for some reason. The knight to d3, rook to h4, king to b3. The knight is here defending the f2 pawn. The rook here is defending the h5 pawn. The rook is also defending the knight. So there's no way Navara's getting rid of these guys. I guess it's just a case of shoving these guys up, removing these 2 pawns and promoting, and shortly after delivering checkmate. So that pretty much concludes our video here tonight. The on the things that I've said, I've meant no offence. I hope no offence has been taken. And no, I'm not calling Hans a cheater. I just want to clarify one last time before I end the video. I am definitely though sat on the fence. After watching the interview, I was he did look guilty, but really, was he guilty for? Did he really wear anal beads? again, that was just a joke by another fellow YouTube uploader. So yeah, no, I the other thing that puts me off, even though the interview looks suspicious of Hans Niemann, I just believe it would be too difficult to be able to even consider cheating in an event such as that one. But again, the game that Hans played with Magnus Carlsen, what Magnus did definitely speaks volumes. It has to be said. So again, thank you. Hit the like if you liked it. Give me your feedback in the comments. Hit the dislike if you must. Please don't. And I'm going to leave a link in the Discord. For my Discord, I've got a great chess community going on. I'm going to leave a link in the description as well to the Twitch streams that we have. So hopefully I'll see you there in the Discord as well. Again, there's a link to the Crazy Crows Chess Club's Discord as well. They have great giveaways, weekly tournaments. Yeah, hopefully I'll see you again. I'll catch you in the next one.